Alright, hello everyone, my name is Iraq, and welcome back to another episode of DN Craft Season 4. This is the finale episode, and as you can see before me, I have been hard at work working on the Capitol building here, and I'm happy to report that after nearly 2 years of construction, the base is finally completed. As you can see here, the front and the back, as well as the interior, is done, so that's great, and with that, the base is officially completed. Yay! And as I mentioned in the beginning, this is the finale episode, which may seem a bit abrupt considering the last episode was a few months ago, but I'll explain more about that as the video goes on. So for today's video, the main objectives are to give a world tour, and kind of talk about how the season went and all the fun memories that we have playing on the season. The season did go on for nearly 2 years, so it is definitely the longest DN Craft season. And I also would like to talk about the future of the server and this channel, because I kind of have some things to say about that. But without further ado, I think we can get started on the world tour. And I think the first stop would be my starter base, which is just over here on this little village. Yep, right here. Alright, so this is my starter base. As you can see, it says Aerox024's residence right there. So this was my starter base. It's a little bit of a hobbit hole kind of themed area. It has a nice little glass roof on top, which you can look in and see what's going on. So I thought that was pretty cool. So if you come inside here, it's pretty simple, nothing crazy. You got like some storage scattered around. Got the bed. And we have a little map of what the area used to look like. And we have the very first wooden, stone, and iron pickaxes that I used this season. So that's kind of a cool thing to have there. And if you come down here, more pretty basic stuff. You know, we've got some armor. This is actually what I wore to defeat the Ender Dragon, and then this is what I used to go netherite mining. And then, you know, got some enchanting, got some pretty basic stuff, furnaces, brewing, and then we have a little villager here who's selling some golden carrots. And over here is my mine that I use to get iron and diamonds and all that fun stuff at the beginning of the world. If you come back up here, you can take a little look around the village. So we've got, of course, the bridge, which leads over to the Capitol building. And then we have some little sheep and cow pens here, which are very humane, as I've always said. And then, of course, you have a little bit of a graveyard. These were my old horses. Rest in peace. One of them was shot by someone. Very, very sad day. But it's okay. You know, they're resting peacefully here. And then for the rest of the village, I didn't really change much around here. I was actually planning on kind of like upgrading these houses and whatnot, but never really got around to it. This house was the house that I sourced all my villagers from, so this is my villager breeder, actually. There's no villagers in there right now, but I use this rail line to bring all my villagers to the Capitol over there, so that was kind of a painful process, you know, like dragging them all the way over there. So this is my very first nether portal. I died multiple times when I went through here because it goes right to the middle of a nether fortress. So that was fun, getting killed by all the wither skeletons and whatnot. And then over here is a little bell tower that kind of chimes as the light levels change throughout the day. But as for the rest of the village, that's pretty much it. I had planned on, you know, expanding these houses and building some buildings, but never really got around to it. And, you know, I think that's okay. And then after I had kind of worked on my starter base area here, I headed over to the Capitol building. And this is a pretty massive base. Definitely the largest and most extensive build I've ever worked on in Minecraft. So I guess we can take a look, and we'll head to the entrance. Alright, so this is the entrance of the Capitol building, which is really more of a campus than a building, considering there's this huge front and back area. But yeah, it just says welcome to the Capitol, and you know, we've got some addresses here, and you know, 11:15 is actually for November 15th, which is when the server was started back in 2019, so that's a little Easter egg, I guess. You can walk down this bridge here and really just take in this whole building as you get closer to it, and really just see how big it is. This is a pretty big build. But we've come into this little courtyard area here, which is pretty empty. But we do have these little reflecting pools surrounded by cherry blossoms, which I think add a nice splash of color, including the pig there. And we have another one on this side as well. So you can kind of walk into this building, and there's actually a first floor, and then the second floor is up here, and then there's a third floor, which is kind of non-existent because I didn't really build too much on there, but we can walk up here. So this is technically the second floor. You walk in here, you've got a nice little seal, kind of the symbol of DNCraft, you know, the diamond sword with the orange background. And then there's this nice aquarium here in the center, which I think is a pretty cool little addition to the building here. But I'm actually going to go down to the first floor and start on the west wing, which is where I first began working on this building. So a lot of the stuff on this side of the building is like infrastructure and farms and storage. So it's not too interesting, but in the nature of the world tour, I guess I should go over everything that's in this building. Alright, so if you are on the west wing of the first floor, this is what you would see. The entrance of the west wing is right here. This goes to the outside. So you walk in here, and these two rooms are my V-Hall. On this side is mainly farmers. We got some miscellaneous librarians and toolsmiths and armorsmiths. And this one over here is all masons. So this is how I got all of the quartz and other, masony things like terracotta for my base here. And this is actually by far the largest villager trading hall I have ever made. Each of these two rooms has 64 villagers. So, I could trade over there, get some emeralds, and then get like a few stacks of quartz each day, which was very, very helpful. And continuing down the hall here, we have the pumpkin and melon farms. You can hear them working there with the pistons and the mine carts, but this one is the pumpkin farm, and that one over there is identical, but it's with melons. And they feed into this storage room here, which is constantly overflowing. I should have made it a lot bigger, and it's probably lagging the server, but I'd rather have too many pumpkins and melons than not enough. And this room next to it is a lava farm, which was kind of a new feature when we started the server, and this dripstone going into the cauldron. So, this has been useful for my super smelter. And then if you continue down here, we have a bee farm, I believe, or a honey farm. So we got all of these bees and then their hives. So we got honeycomb on this side, and then we've got some honey bottles on this side. And I do have a lot of honeycomb and honey blocks. And then across the hall, we have a sugarcane farm, which this one's actually not backed up, which is good. So no lag there. And a little bit further down the hall, we have a little bit of a stable here. With all of my animals, we got some horses, we got a skeleton horse, a pig, more horses, llamas, and then a donkey, and a pink sheep, which was caught wild, which is kind of cool because those are pretty rare. And then this goes to the outside, so you can take your horses and go on adventures. And you go down here, and this connects back to the main hallway. And this room actually here is not a farm for once. This is a office. This was kind of my makeshift storage room / base of operations. You got my bed here, and this is my storage room. As I was building the rest of the capital, so you can kind of see, I got some scattered materials throughout. And then this is Gregory. Yeah, he's still chilling. He's been here since the start, He's just a chiller in the boat. Then going back out into the office, we got some OG items. Like this was the very first piece of armor I think I wore. This was just a silly joke between me and Tater Tot. And then this was from like a gift exchange or something we did on Christmas. So, this was just kind of basically my base for a while. And of course, throwback to the Christmas server, we have the clown license, of course. Can't forget that. And if you come out of the office, across the hall here is the stairs and elevator. So that'll actually go to the next floor, so we'll wait on that for a second. And then in here we have a flower farm storage room, nothing crazy. We got a cactus farm in here. And then down the hall here is the actual flower farm for the double flowers. And then this one down here is the farm for the single flowers, which I didn't use either of those too much, but it's okay. It was cool to build. And here was the super smelter, which I did use a lot. Super smelters are very good. And at the end of the hallway here, this is back towards the middle of the building, we have more stairs and elevators, and then this really tiny, like 3-block wide storage closet. I didn't really know what to do with this space, so I just made it into a storage room, and there's just like a bunch of random stuff in here, which is kind of funny. But that's it for the first floor of the west wing. So coming out here, this is the middle of the first floor. We got the aquarium, and then this is actually a train station entrance down here, but we'll come back to that later. You can see the reflecting pools on either side. We can walk over to the east wing, which was kind of completed off camera. I was working on this in between episodes. So in here we have kind of like a state dining room area, where you can just kind of like chill and have dinner. People can give speeches and whatever. It's got a nice view outside of the reflecting pools and the cherry blossoms, so that's very nice. And then across the way we have a food court, which is kind of funny. We've got, you know, McServe, which is kind of like McDonald's. This is actually a funny joke that goes all the way back to Season 1 of DNCraft, where the server IP used to end in .mcserve, and everyone would always say it was just a funny IP, so I decided to make it into like a knockoff McDonald's, which is kind of funny. Then this is Sugar Canes, which is kind of a knockoff of Raising Canes. And then we have Tasty Tweet Bakery with the W. Yes, this is another throwback to Season 1 when Mr. Yule and I decided to make a little shop in the residential area. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. And then we have a little sushi stand. This isn't really a throwback to anything. I just thought it would be cool to make like this style of restaurant. So this is just a little food court. You can come in here and eat some food and chill. And then continuing down the line, we have a little guest room here, kind of, or like a disco party room. You know, you can just kind of chill and like do karaoke or whatever. And this is actually one of my favorite things in this building is this disco floor. Yeah, you can dance around with the parrots, and I don't know, it's just a funny build, I think. Yeah, so that can go back in there, and then, you know, I've got a little bed here, which is actually mirrored with my other office on that other side. And then, of course, you got a little Jed sheep just kind of chilling. Got his nice own little habitat. And yeah, there's just a funny little room, got an aquarium with some axolotls. And these are some stairs and elevators. There's 3 of them in this building, so this is the 3rd stairwell slash elevator access point. And if you come over here, this takes us to the garage and the restricted area of the building. So we can go into the garage first, which is pretty cool. Got, you know, some F1 racing cars, and we got some like security vehicles, and then you know, a limo, because this is supposed to be like the government like Capitol building or whatever. And then we got some more security vehicles, like the Server Security Bureau. So it's like the FBI of DNCraft, or yeah, I don't know. I just thought that these looked cool and built them. And then if you come in here, you can enter the restricted area. That's a little security checkpoint, and then you enter the secrets of the Capitol, which is really just like archives. So these are supposed to be like government archives and documents, but there's not really much of them completed. So I crafted up like hundreds of these books and to put in these bookshelves, and ended up not really writing in any of them. But they look pretty cool, and you can actually take them out and like do stuff with them, which is funny. And then across the way here, this is like the situation room that they have in the White House. So we got a long table where you can have all your advisors, and you can like watch TV or have a call or something. And then you got the time zones here, like Capital Standard Time. And then we have a little map of the server, which is pretty much just this whole big island. And this is actually kind of outdated. Like I need to update some things that happened behind the Capitol and other projects people worked on. So I'll do that before I end the server. But I think this room looks pretty cool. And then, actually, this room leads back out here as well. And then connects to this side, which is also just more archives that are pretty much also empty, which is kind of funny. And then you can come down here, and then this connects around to this side. And this is the exit of the secure area. So, you know, all the secrets are just empty books, really, in that map room. But I just thought it was kind of funny to make like a little like authorized personnel only, like make it seem all secret. And then you can enter the library here, which I think this is a pretty cool area. You know, you can chill with the cat, read a book. And then I actually do have some actual books written by players in here. I believe there's just an excerpt of the Bible in here. I think Dr. P, when he made his mission, he wrote that. So I thought that's pretty funny. And there's some other like books, I believe from like Tater Tot's like Golden Apple Hunt, and there's like other random books that we've written. So I just thought that was funny to put them all in this library here. And then that is the exit, which takes you out to the front here. So that was the east wing, which means I guess we can go on to the second floor now of the Capitol. Alright, so we are back here on the second floor. This is where we initially started the kind of tour of this building. So we can walk over here to the west wing. And the west wing on the second floor, as well as the east wing, are a lot smaller because there's a big room on each side. So we can start here. These are the stairs and the elevators from the first floor. And then this is the governor office wing, kind of. So we got some like little offices in here. where the supposed governors of each like district or whatever could come and have their office. And down the line here, we have a little meeting room with these, mangrove chairs. I really like these chairs. They just look cool. So I use them a lot throughout this build. I think you'll notice throughout this tour. And continuing down the line here, we have a little bit of a hearing room. I thought this was pretty cool using like little mics. This is like what they have at like the actual Capitol in the U.S. And you could have like a little like witness stand here, and you could like give a testimony. I just thought this looked pretty cool. And coming out here, this is the like executive, like I think it was the chancellor's office is what I called it. So whoever was like the head of the like Senate room or whatever would have this office. And then this actually connects to the press briefing room, which is like what you see in the movies. So you can kind of come up here and like be like, guys, the world is ending. No, I don't know. And then all the reporters would be here like taking notes and asking questions. And then that connects back out here. And then over here, this is also more elevators and stairs, so nothing interesting in there. And then this here is like kind of a recreation game room. Watch some TV, read some books, play some pool, kind of chill with Piggy Pooh and Mr. Porky and the bird. But this is a pretty cool view, I think, this room. You can kind of see out the bridge and like my starter base over there. Alright, so if you walk across the hall here, this is the Senate section of the building. Because after all, this is supposed to be kind of like a government building, so I modeled it after the U.S. Capitol, which has two houses. So this is the Senate, and over there is the Council, in the East Wing there, and that is kind of modeled after like a courtroom. So if you can walk in here, you can see, like, you got the seats for all the senators, and, there might be someone up there giving a speech or running the proceedings. We got some chandeliers, and I think this room turned out pretty cool. But anyway, that's just about it for the West Wings. We can walk on over to the East Wing. Alright, so we are back here in the middle. The West Wing is on that side. And then we have the nether portal for this building, actually, which goes up to the 3rd floor. It's pretty big. So that's right there. But over here is the East Wing. So you can walk in here, and there's like a little bit of a area where you can, get some drinks or whatever. And then in here, we have an office. I believe this is like the Department of Defense office. So you can have some meetings here, and, like meetings here. Lots of meetings going on in these offices. And I believe this is actually what most of the 2nd floor of the East Wing is. So we have like kind of offices for each department of the government. So I believe this is like the Department of Energy. We got some experiments going on here with energy. And then you can walk in here, and this would be like an office where you could have a meeting with the leader of each department. So if you continue down here, this is like public safety, so this is supposed to track like monsters. So yeah, like report like hostile entities, whatever. And then I had like a little map set up. And then down here, this is like mining and explorations. We got all these like little foreign objects from expeditions. And then down this hall here, we have the Department of Commerce, which is, you got a little stock graph going on and people doing like financial things. Got some file cabinets there. And then across here, this is the Department of Elevators and Stairs, apparently. Yeah, this is the other stairwell. That's not an actual department. But then you can come down here, and this is like the Department of Transportation. I think this is supposed to be like a sort of like switchboard room. These are supposed to have maps in them, so maybe I'll add that before I end the server, because that does look a little funny with there's nothing being there. This is the Department of I think this is resource management. So this is like, managing all the different building materials around the server. So, got like computer screens and file cabinets and whatnot. This last one, I believe, is the Department of Building. So, we've got just kind of a lounge here. And I don't know, there's just nothing really on this table, apparently. And then this is another big office room. So you can kind of tell I kind of ran out of inspiration for some of these departments. I was just kind of trying to fill the space as I got towards the end. But some of them do look cool. Like, I'm pretty happy with the way the mining and exploration one turned out. But anyway, we can walk over here, and just like the Senate on the West Wing, this is the Council. So you can walk in here and come down here and enter the Council, which is, like I mentioned before, the 2nd house or chamber of the Capitol. So you can walk in here, and this is like the council room. Yeah, so you got like people could spectate, and then you could have like people on each side arguing for a case, and like a witness stand here. And I'm actually really happy with the way this room turned out. I think this just looks really intimidating, this high like bench area. with the curtains, and then of course the very scary snowman up there. You know, this is the council. They will decide your fate. But yeah, this is a pretty cool room. Got the chandeliers and pretty much looks very similar to the Senate. But yeah, that was the end of the second floor, so we can now take the stairs up to the third floor. Now I had a lot of things planned for the third floor initially, but got kind of lazy. So there's not too much up here. So this is the west wing side, which is mainly just a storage room. So we've got general storage on this side and a bulk storage on this side. This has tons and tons of stone. Like I believe all this is stone. Yep. And all this is like also stone. I believe this is dirt. Yep. And then some of these are empty. Like I believe these ones are empty. But then these are all grass. So this is what I got from just like excavating and, you know, terraforming around the building. Then if you come across the hallway here, this is kind of more general storage, which just has some like, you know, basic stuff. You got some wood, you got some like cobblestone, sand over here. So I actually intended for this to be my new storage room, compared to the one that's down there on the first floor, and as well as like my starter base and other projects I've worked on. I have a lot of like random chests filled with stuff, but never really got around to consolidating it all in this one room because that's a lot of work and a lot of trips going back and forth. So I guess it's cool to just have a nice massive storage system here, but a lot of the chests are empty. And then there's actually one more thing at the very end here. When I got How Did We Get Here? Dock here in the Nether, which is arguably the hardest achievement to get in the game, to have every single effect possible applied to you in survival. So you can come here, and this is kind of like a little How Did We Get Here like shrine, I guess, kind of. So I got it June 22nd, 2023, and then these are the items, I guess. These are the actual items I used to get the achievements. But yeah, that is about it for the West Wing. So you can come back over here, and you know, there's the middle here, and then this little stairwell actually goes up into the dome, which has my like main office and like bed and a little like trophy room. So if you come over here, this is the East Wing, and this will be very quick because there is nothing here. All these rooms are empty. I did have plans for them, but I never really got around to working on it, so these rooms will remain empty. And then there's this door here, which is the stairs and elevator room, and a little kind of fun thing, I guess. This is roof access. So each of the stairwells does go up to the roof, so you can access the roof from inside the building, which is kind of cool. And if you come back into the middle section here, you can actually just look outside real quick. This is a little balcony that overlooks the back of the building, so you can see kind of the motorcade right there, and like the cherry trees and the fountain. But there is one more thing that we still have to look at on the interior of the building, and that is the dome, which has the vice president's office, the president's office, and the trophy room, as well as where I sleep. So this is the vice president's office. You know, you just got a desk, pretty basic stuff. You got a little sleeping area. Alright, so coming out here, we've got some little waiting areas and a reception desk, and you can come up to the lower part of the dome, which has a trophy room, and front and center, we've got the Ender Dragon egg, and the Ender Dragon was defeated June 28th, 2022, which is almost 2 years ago, which is kind of crazy to think about, honestly. But the rest of these items are pretty silly, and most of these were obtained during our gift exchange with Muffin Man and Tater Tot back in 2023. So we have like my gaming PC, and like best Discord moderator of the year award, just silly items like that. And you can come up here, and this is my office, and this was modeled after the Oval Office in the White House, which I think is pretty cool. So you know, we've got some things like we've got some armor stands, we've got, you know, the dog, we've got some seating, and we got my 1,000,000 subscriber play button because I have 1,000,000 subscribers. And we got some reading materials, and of course the Constitution of DNCraft. let me just read this. The Constitution of DNCraft. Oh, I forgot. Okay, yeah. I was gonna write out some like fake rules and stuff, but you know, I ain't doing all that. It's a little too much work, you know. So you can take this elevator up here from the office to the sleeping area. So this is the bed that I sleep in. And we've got, you know, I don't really know. This is like what I read before I go to bed, I guess. I don't know. That's my bedtime story. But we have a little map here of the Capitol building, which is pretty cool. If you really take a step back and look at the scale of this building, and it really is impressive. And then we've got some little like achievement badges because I've played on this server so much that I have 53,016 minutes right now. That's a lot of minutes. But I believe that is everything for the Capitol building interior. There's actually a little secret exit here. This takes you to the roof, so you can fly out here, and you can kind of see. This is the back area. I guess we didn't look at that too much, but there's you got some cherry trees, you got a little fountain, and a little presidential motorcade here with the limo and some security cars. But that is about it for the Capitol building. There is one thing I want to do before I head back here to look at the train station. And that is just over this way. We have two things we worked on during the holiday season back in 2023. We have the Christmas tree and we have the New Year's firework display. So this did say 2023. I changed it when it became 2024. But we had a little white elephant gift exchange here with Muffin Man and Tater Tot and me. So we all made gift boxes and put them in these presents, and it was a fun time. You can check out that episode if you want. And then of course for New Year's we had a little fireworks display here. We put some music in and celebrated 2023. It is now 2024, which is also again kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, we got all these fireworks dispensers here. So that was a fun little New Year's celebration. But yeah, that is about it for everything I've worked on around the Capitol and my starter base. So we can fly back to the train station back here on the first floor. Now this train station, I believe I called it like Grand Central Station. Because there were supposed to be so many rail lines connected here. I believe it was 4. It was supposed to go like east, west, north, and south. But we only ended up completing one of the rail lines, so these ones are unfinished, unfortunately. I really thought that I was going to be able to connect these up, but kind of lost the motivation to do it. But I believe that this station turned out pretty cool at least, and we got the little like station markers. So this is Grand Central Station, and you can take little elevator down here and see another rail line. So yeah, as I mentioned, this is the only rail line that was actually completed. It goes to Spawn, so we can take a minecart and actually ride it to Spawn, which is the next stop on our world tour. Now this is the Piston Boat Railway, and it travels about around 900 to 1,000 blocks, I believe, in around a minute and a half or something. So it's pretty nice. You don't have to waste rockets and use your elytra flying here. You just kind of sit here and chill. So this was a cool thing that I built, and I wanted to make more of them, but realized after building one that piston bolts are very annoying to build, very resource intensive and time intensive. So I think this is a one and done type deal. But yeah, we should be arriving at Spawn very soon. Alright, we are pulling into Spawn right now. You can kind of see the DNCraft lettering up there. But this is the Spawn station, and there is actually another rail line that connects from here that goes to the Bow Zone, which we'll stop at in a bit. Exiting the Spawn station here, you might realize that this building looks a little familiar, and it was kind of modeled after the Season 1 airport terminal. I thought it would be a fun little throwback, with these triangular windows and whatnot. But if we were to pretend that we were a new player joining the server for the first time, we would spawn on this platform right here and see the nice DNCraft letters and the peaceful cherry blossoms and all the little flowers and plants and whatnot. And I think the spawn area turned out pretty nice. It's very peaceful and welcoming, I feel like. So you walk out here, you can set your spawn, and then of course there's a little map of the server. I also need to update this one because there's some things that are not updated. But this would kind of allow players to see like, where might I want to go, because spawn is here and you can have the whole island to explore. And then of course we have some food to help players get on their feet, and we have a little bit of an armor equip station here that it looks like people actually use. So that's good. But just some iron tools, just so people wouldn't die instantly. And then over here we have a little statue representing like the unknown player who dares to explore. But if you fly out here, see Spawn is pretty small and it's very nice, and you can see this rail line goes off to the Bow Zone. And then there is actually one little hidden thing under Spawn. If you fly into this tiny little cave here, there is an iron farm and some other farms, but this was the main source of iron for me and some other players on the server. We just kind of put it at Spawn so it would be always running. But lots of iron was gained this way. And we tried to also have some pumpkin and melon farms, and I believe there's like a sniffer farm and a villager like carrot farm over there, but none of them worked as well as the iron farm. But that was a trusty source of iron for most of the season. Yeah, flying up here, you can see Spawn once again. and we can fly and follow this rail line to the Bow Zone. Now, some of you might remember that episode was an interesting one, but the Bow Zone is basically an area for expression on the server. So we do have a train station here. This is pretty normal looking because it's part of the main server. So we got Bow Zone Station. Of course, you got the clown license as the symbol for the station. Got to stay true to the origins of this this beautiful area. So there have been a few new additions. So I don't know if this is Bark Obama. Yeah, I forgot if I made that or not. I really don't remember. But there are lots of interesting builds here. So we've got like a minion, we've got the skull emoji, we've got some happy things here. We've got this guy, I believe his name is Brett. He's planted some flowers. We've got the Ohio flag, a very tall tree. This is the signature Muffin Man portal. I've got an Among Us. This place is really just cursed. This is supposed to be the Bass Pro Shops pyramid. But yeah, this area is just really something else. Pretty interesting part of the server. Freedom of expression is good. But it was really just fun messing around with my friends one day and building this. Now there's one last place I'd like to stop at, and it's just over here. You may have noticed that we recently hit 100 subscribers on this channel, so I made a little 100 subscriber monument. You can kind of see here that it says 100, and there's actually 100 of these poles here, and they're 4 blocks tall to kind of symbolize the 4 years that this channel has been around, because I did start this channel back in 2020. And if you come over here to the front, it just says ARX34 subscribers, and this was reached back in April. So just a little thing to remember, a channel accomplishment. And if I ever hit like 1,000 subscribers, maybe I'll make one of these out of 1,000 polls, which would take a lot longer than 100. But yeah, I think with that we can wrap up the tour and head back to the capital. Alright, well that just about wraps up the world tour. Now, that wasn't every single thing that I worked on this season, but it was the major projects. So if you want to check out every single thing I worked on, you can look at the world yourself. I'll put a link to the world download in the description, and yeah, you can fly around and look at everything we built this season. But now I just want to briefly talk about kind of the future of this channel and the server going forward. You may have noticed we haven't really mentioned anything about DNCraft Season 5, and right now there aren't really any plans for Season 5. Season 4 has been a pretty long season. It's lasted almost 2 years, or actually over 2 years now. Which is a pretty long time for one world, and towards the latter half, a lot of the active players went to college, including myself, and we all really didn't have that much time to play, so we kind of decided that it might be best to kind of not continue the server for the time being, but if popular demand ever comes back, I'm not opposed to bringing back DNCraft, but I think as of right now, this will be the last DNCraft world for a little bit. Now, as for the channel, I did make that video about a year ago saying that I had disappeared, why I had disappeared, and that I was back and going off to college. And after that video came out, I kind of disappeared again for a whole nother year. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, over the past year or so, I've been at college, and I've realized that it's pretty difficult to make these YouTube videos. Both physically and mentally. Physically, I'm just like not really playing games a whole lot. Just busy with other stuff. And mentally, as I mentioned, not a lot of people have been playing on this server in particular, so it's been pretty difficult to get on and like work on a project. Now, as many of you know, this channel was started back in quarantine, kind of as a hobby, as a way to, learn a new skill, video editing, and kind of document, like, all the games I was playing since, we were all stuck in our homes playing games all the time. But, since then, times have kind of changed, and I found myself not really playing games too much. So I'm not really too sure where this channel will go. I think I'll keep it around, and, maybe once in a while I'll upload a video, but I can't really promise anything too regular. Now, as for Minecraft content, I might start a single-player world, but I don't really know if I'm going to record videos because, again, it's just kind of too time-consuming, and sometimes I just want to chill and, do my own thing on the world or whatever. So, yeah, this might be kind of the last video for a bit, and, there'll be videos sporadically here and there, but I can't be promising anything. So, for everyone who's joined me over the past 4 years, thank you. We recently hit 100 subscribers, so thank you everyone who subscribed for that. Thank you for joining me over these past 4 seasons on DNCraft, and the Christmas server, for those of you who were there for that. And yeah, and some of my favorite builds have been built on these servers. I think this Capitol building here will be probably my favorite build for a long time. It's definitely the biggest thing I've ever built in survival. So yeah, a lot of memories have been made on these servers, but unfortunately, I think that is all the time we have for today's video. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. If you really enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you all in another video. See ya!